If you are on the go and you must stop at a Outback Steakhouse, here are your top 3 options and your worst 3 options for your health and fitness goals. Yo guys, it's Mackenzie from SciFit, and today we're talking about eating fit on the fly. If you are on the go and you must stop at a Outback Steakhouse, here are your top 3 options and your worst 3 options for your health and fitness goals. As always, we will start with rock bottom and work our way up from there. Rock bottom option number 1 is the Bloomin' Onion. This meal has an astounding 1,950 calories with an absolutely astronomical 155 grams of fat with a heart-stopping 56 grams of saturated fat, nearly 4 grams of salt, 123 grams of carbs with a measly 18 grams of protein. This is by far and away the absolute worst thing we have examined on this channel and in this series.
How bad?
Real bad, Jess.
This option is so bad that even if you split it with someone else, it is still making an argument for the absolute worst thing you can get at Outback.
One bloomin' onion.
There is literally a whole day's worth of calories in one item. The saturated fat content alone is far more than the recommended amount for daily human consumption. And to make matters worse, it has almost as many carbs as it does fat. The protein to fat and protein to carb ratio are obviously going to be massively negative. There is literally only 18 grams of protein in this thing, an absolute. The only thing that'll be blooming after this option is your new pant size. Avoid this at all costs anytime. Rock bottom option number 2 is the Toowoomba pasta with shrimp and crawfish. This meal has 1,330 calories with 74 grams of fat, an absurd 41 grams being saturated fat, a little over 2.5 grams of salt, 106 carbs with 6 grams of sugar and 9 grams of fiber with only 57 grams of protein. This option is an absolute calorie bomb that packs a heinous amount of saturated fat.
Bomb.
What is even worse is this option also boasts an almost 1 to 2 gram ratio of protein to carbs, meaning you will not only be overloading your body with fat, but also massively spiking your blood sugar at the same time. This is a recipe for a nice little nap after your meal and kissing all your hard work for the week goodbye. Say toodaloo to Toowoomba. Rock bottom option number 3 is the Bloomin' Fried Chicken with the mashed potatoes and mixed veggies. This meal has 1,120 calories with an outlandish 96 grams of fat with a whopping 30 grams being saturated fat, an absolutely ridiculous 5 grams of salt, 105 grams of carbs with 18 grams of sugars and 17 grams of fiber, and only 77 grams of protein. This option, although slightly better than option number 1, is still a fat and carb bomb.
Saturation bombing!
Although it does have about 2/3 of the amount of fat as rock bottom option number 1, it's still an absolute day ruiner for most individuals, including the 30 grams of saturated fat. There is also nearly the same amount of carbs in this option as the Bloomin' Onion. However, there is 4 times the amount of protein. So it's a protein-packed heart attack, not just a heart attack. Bloomin' Onion, Bloomin' Chicken, the choice is yours. Either way, the only thing that'll be bloomin' on you will be your bloomers. These options all have massively inverse protein to fat and protein to carb ratios that we are looking for if we're looking to remain as close as possible to our fit eating routine. With these kinds of choices, you are actively making it harder on yourself to offset in accordance with your goals later. As a matter of fact, it is absolutely impossible to offset these types of meal choices. They are absolute no-goes. However, what if I told you that it would also be possible to eat fit, and I mean like bodybuilder early prep phase fit, at Outback?
Check out my pecs.
Let's talk about the best 3 item combinations you can have to achieve this. Fast and fit option number 1 is the 10-ounce Victoria's Filet Mignon with the house side salad and a light balsamic vinaigrette. This meal option has only 480 calories with 20 grams of fat, just 7.5 grams being saturated fat, under 1.5 grams of sodium with only 9 grams of carbs, with 8 grams of sugars and 0 grams of fiber, with 66 grams of protein. This option is the best option at Outback. It has an almost over 3 to 1 gram ratio of fat and a very limited amount of saturated fat.
That's impressive.
There is also an over 6 to 1 gram ratio of protein to carbs. This option is balanced so appropriately that you could legitimately eat this twice in a day and most individuals would still be in alignment with their goals. This option is the perfect example of eating fit on the fly. Choosing options like this can keep you on track with your compositional goals even on the go. Fast and fit option number 2 is the grilled Alaskan halibut with the fresh mixed veggies. This meal option has only 470 calories with a minuscule 16 grams of fat, 4.5 grams being saturated fat. Barely half a gram of sodium, 20 grams of carbs with just 7 grams of sugar and 7 grams of fiber with 59 grams of protein. This option is very similar to fast and fit option number 1. The protein to fat ratio exceeds 3 to 1 grams and the ratio of protein to carbs is nearly 3 to 1 grams as well. In all honesty, options 1 and 2 are completely interchangeable. They are both as lean gets when eating on the fly. However, if we are strictly picking for the absolute leanest, this would be winner halibut dinner. You could even eat this meal 3 times in a day and likely stay within your goals. Just don't warm it up in the office microwave because everyone will hate you. Fast and fit option number 3 is the 8-ounce grilled chicken on the Barbie with grilled vegetables. This meal option has 520 calories with just 16 grams of fat, 6 grams being saturated fat, just over a gram of salt, 34 grams of carbs with 20 grams being sugar and 6 grams being fiber with 59 grams of protein. This option, while it is not as lean as the first 2 options, is still a great option. It boasts a nearly 4 to 1 gram ratio of protein to fat while also maintaining a 2 to 1 gram ratio of protein to carbs. However, this option does have the most amount of sugar of any of the options we have discussed today. This option is still considered lean due to its low fat content and that it could be eaten multiple times a day depending on you and your unique goals. These options are the best because of their protein ratios are not just positive, they are so positive you could use them to scale a whole day of eating if that is your thing. Every single one of these fast and fit options are a viable fit meal. Like, I low-key was hyped about finding this out. Like, Outback can keep you fit, man. Well, except for the bloomin' onion thing, that was actually heartbreaking and tragic for me. Outback had the best of the best and the absolute worst of the worst. You are the deciding factor. Remember, when we are eating on the go, it's about 2 things: prioritizing protein and avoiding the big 3. Sugar, saturated fat, and anything fried. Now you know how to eat fit on the fly.